Hi guys, CodeTutor here and my name is Anil Deshpande. In the previous video, we observed that even the Unicode characters can be used for declaring the variable identifiers. But in this video, we will see what are the illegal identifiers that you should not use in Swift. One important thing is you cannot start an identifier with an integer and you cannot have spaces. Almost all special characters are not allowed in Swift while creating an identifier either in the middle or at the end or the beginning of identifier. However, you can use underscore while creating an identifier either at the beginning, middle or end of the identifier string. Having understood this, let us proceed further and explore in a much more detailed way. Let us proceed with the naming convention that we typically follow in Swift. While declaring variable names, it is always camel case standard that we typically use in Swift. What do I mean by camel case is you always start with a small letter, and if a single word or single string is not sufficient to describe variable that you want to use, then the next word is usually started with the capital letter and then continue with the small letters. This convention is called as camel case convention. You might have been already familiar with this if you have been doing Java programming or even JavaScript programming. And if you want to comment single lines, you can use double slashes, and if you want to comment multiple lines, then you can use C style multi-line comments, and unlike in C, you can use nested comments. In Swift, the type annotation that you declare at the end of the variable is very important. If you are directly using literal to assign some value to a variable, automatically the sample variable will be inferred as integer or a string depending upon what kind of literal you are assigning to it. But if you are not assigning, you cannot leave it not telling what kind of data type the sample variable is. If you assign a literal, that's perfectly well and fine, but otherwise you have to always use a type annotation to tell what is the data type of the sample variable is. Swift also supports Boolean. So to declare a boolean, you have to use a keyword bool. The value it can take is either true or false. When you print the value of the bool, it prints true or false. And once again, there is no default false value when you declare a boolean variable. So when you declare any particular variable of a particular data type, in this case, let me declare a variable, say sample variable. In this case, the data type is integer, and let me create another variable. Let me make it 1 and this one 2. This one is double. I cannot assign an integer to a double, so this will give a compilation error because you cannot assign an integer type to a double. There is no automatic implicit type conversion as you would call in some of the other programming language. However, if I assign literal, the literal will automatically get promoted to a double. That is not a problem. But when you are assigning a variable, you have to make sure that the same data type variables are getting assigned. However, you can do explicit type conversion. All you have to do is double, and then the assignment will work perfectly fine. But Swift expects you to mention this explicitly. It will not do type conversion automatically from int to a double or from float to a double because there is no implicit type conversion. And other than the variables, there is another way of declaring data that is called as constant. In Swift, you declare a constant by using a keyword called as let, and then constant name, say sample constant, and then you assign some value here. And once you declare a constant, you cannot change. It becomes immutable. So what do I mean by that is I cannot use sample constant is equal to 200 because constants are immutable. You can see that the compiler complains saying that sample constant is a let constant. And you can even declare a constant and assign a variable to that particular value. This assignment is perfectly fine. But once again, I cannot change the value to some other value because it is a constant. It has already been assigned here, and once it has been assigned, you cannot change that again. And you can declare any type of constant in the same way you declare variable. There is no restriction on what kind of constants that you can create in Swift. And once again, coding convention while declaring the constant is same as variable. You use a camel case convention even for declaration of constants. Whenever you do any kind of mathematical operations involving two different data types, this one is double and this one is an integer, you have to make sure that both the data types are of same type. Otherwise, once again, there is no automatic implicit conversion in Swift. Num2 will not be automatically converted to double. This is something that you might have taken for granted in some of the other programming languages. But here in Swift, you can't do this. If you want to make this work, then you have to explicitly convert this to a double, and then only this particular statement will be a legal statement. Or you can convert num1 to an integer, then it will be fine. So we have understood how a declaration of variable and constant works, and we have also seen how the implicit conversion doesn't work as you expect in Swift. In the next videos, we shall continue to explore Swift further. That brings us to the end of this particular video. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video and subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye.